Hello, I am Bea Cupin and welcome to Rappler. On January 25, 392 troopers of the PNP Special Action Force entered Mamasapano town in Maguindanao to neutralize bomb makers and terrorists Marwan and Abdul Basit Usman. The SAF troopers got Marwan but paid a heavy price. At least 65 people dead, including 44 of their own men. It's one of the bloodiest days in the PNP and the SAF history and the biggest crisis to hit President Benigno Aquino III's administration. How do you cope with such a tragedy and how do you move forward? Today, Rappler speaks to newly installed SAF Director, Chief Superintendent Moro Lazo to answer these questions. Thank you for joining us, sir. It's been a few days since you were installed as SAF Director. How has it been so far?
So far, I'm doing okay. I had the time to talk with my troops already. Initially, we had a review of the problems that we are supposed to face now and solve. Slowly also, I feel that the people are, my fellow SAF troopers are again trying to stand up, trying to regain, their confidence again in themselves, and for sure, we'll try our best to be back on our feet as soon as possible.
Sir, before we talk about SAF of 2015 and moving forward, let's go back to the beginning of SAF and the beginning of your career in government. In 1984, you entered the SAF as a young lieutenant. Why choose SAF?
There were 12 of us from PMA class of 84 who volunteered to join SAF. The last guy who volunteered to join SAF, which makes us to 13, is our West Point graduate batchmate. So the reason why we joined SAF is because at that time we had problems already in the country. We had problems in the South. We also had problems with the CPP-NPA. And so we told ourselves that since as young lieutenants, it's going to be mandatory for us to be assigned in the battlefront. We opted to join the best unit at the time for us to get the best training, and this will ensure our survival in the battlefield. So, following the saying that the more you perspire in training, the less you bleed in battle. So, we joined SAF. By the way, SAF is you should volunteer to join SAF. It's not automatic that anybody can just join SAF. So that was the reason for us. And of course, as young lieutenants, like the young lieutenants that suffered in Mamasapano, in Tagalog, we call it para kaming walang kamatayan nun. Parang talagang. And I can just imagine the feeling of these young lieutenants when they went out to that operation. Adventure, you're young, you're carefree, you feel like a Superman, parang wala kang vulnerability. So,
what was the experience like, sir? During those early days, you were assigned, where were you deployed to when you started out in SAF?
After our Scout Ranger orientation course, the difference of an SROC class and a Scout Ranger class or course, SRC, is the test mission.
Okay.
SROCs, we are not given test missions. So when we joined the PNP-SAF, this was where we were given our test mission in combat operations. Initially, we had, as far as my unit is concerned, I was assigned with the first company then. Our unit also figured out in some operations against the communist terrorists or the insurgents then. But later on, things evolved and the first company eventually became the anti-terrorist unit of SAF, while the second company also became the unit which was primarily to be used for counter-insurgency operations. So that's how it started. So I got myself into staying most of the time here in Metro Manila, while my other classmates were going around the country already doing their counterinsurgency operation.
One anecdote that General Razon shared to us in an interview before, he remembers this one class of SAF, and after training, they made a banner daw na there is nothing in this course but pain, something like that. But natatawa po kayo dun sa mention na yun. As someone who actually went through the training of to be a member of the SAF, how difficult, how would you describe the training that SAF's men and women go through?
Yeah, like all the elite forces in the other branch of service, the training is really very hard. The casualty rate will show to you that the rigidness of the training, and talagang ang matibay. And so that's the reason why yung class na hinandle ni na General Razon, mabuti hindi yung klase namin. There's nothing, tama yung sinabi niya, that there's nothing but pain in the training. But again, anong silbi na lahat nito? No pain, no gain, di ba? So eventually, ito nga yung, this will spell your survival in the in the war zone.
Sir, typically the SAF is a unit that doesn't get much fanfare, doesn't get much attention. I mean, you operate on the down low, right? In and out. But now after Mamasapa, no, parang lagi kayong tinatawag na elite force ng PNP, the elite police, ganyan. What makes the SAF elite?
Maybe the kind of recruits that we get. They will really, all of us, I mean, when you join SAF, you volunteer to die for country. That's no question about that. This is something that the civilians do not understand much. But this is taken seriously, and the Mama Kasapano incident is a clear manifestation of this love for country. Diba? Number two, we are the only unit that has a test mission after our training. There are similar trainings in other PNP units, but wala silang test mission. Here, you do not graduate if, for example, according to our training standards, you are not fit to be graduates as a class. Tapos, number three, yung closeness and cohesiveness ng mga tao. Talagang, because you train together, you suffered a lot together, I mean, and most of all, you fought in combat together. This really, how do you call it, connects you very closely to your bodies. Kasi nga, di ba, matter of life and death, you depend on your body and your teammates for your survival. So, these are the things, a few of the things that makes us very different. We have trainings which tests our confidence on ourselves. Di ba? Like, airborne course, you parachute out of the aircraft. We have scuba diving also. But the basic class, the foundation course that we call it, the commando course, is already more than a training which already will separate us from the normal PNP members.
Right. So talking about experiences in combat on the field, when you started out in SAF, when the SAF started out, it was a very difficult years for the Philippines kasi ito yung mga may kudeta, revolution. What experiences stand out now looking back? Parang
No, we just, I think for us, we just remember that all the time we are practically on alert, based in Camp Crame, ready to respond to any calls for us to prepare and go out. It became so normal that it already became a normal way of life for us. Being on alert, anytime they wake you up and you have to be deployed. And eventually it died down. So,
how did that shape you naman po? That you were fresh off the PMA at that time, to be the country's anti-coup unit, diba? The SAF then was the anti-coup unit. How did that shape you, you think, as a young officer?
Well, if I can speak for our class, I was lucky that I was with classmates who were, of the same idea.
Right.
We were supportive of each other. But most important of all, we were under officers who really molded us to become officers like us today.
Right.
Very, very good and snappy officers who really guided us and taught us on how we should be behaving. So all of these accomplishments, we were always made to understand, and we were always asked to not to be very, how do you call it, vocal about them, just low-key, just stay on the background, just stay behind the shadows. That's how we were.
Just do the job properly.
Yeah.
Parang ganun. Sir, ngayon you've come, it's full circle for you because you started your career in the SAF. Now you head the SAF. How would you compare the SAF of 1984 to the SAF now of 2000? Wow, that's 31 years. How would you compare the units?
Oh, very different. At the time, we knew practically each other by name.
Yeah.
When we were there. Now we have, a little over 4,000 people.
Wow, that's a lot.
How can you remember each other's faces?
Yeah.
In fact, as we grew bigger, there were times in Camp Crame that when we had the Saturday inspections, we had to form, after the Saturday inspection, we had to form two circles, two circles with each, if you're on both sides of if you're on one of the circles, you should be facing each other.
Okay.
So parang concentric circles.
Okay.
And we go around, shaking each other's hand, looking at each other's faces.
Right.
Para alam mo na, kasi malaki na masyado rin. Pero,
Yeah.
yun yung,
But in terms, sir, of function,
the mission also became more complicated.
Yeah.
Mas kukonti ang missions nun. This time, but although there is this, let's say for example, it is enumerated. Ito yung mga missions nyo.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4. But there is always this last part of the mission, which is to perform other tasks as directed.
right?
Yeah. So.
But that was also there in 1984.
Yes.
Okay.
Always. That has always been there. So
Okay.
you are being asked to do something, even if it's outside of your mission.
Yeah.
Of course, we follow. Because I think, that's a command prerogative. That's the decision of the commander. So yun ang catch-all mission.
Yeah. Yeah.
We perform other tasks as directed by national headquarters. So, but we do not complain. For as long as we think we can do the job.
Right. There's no problem.
Yeah. And I cannot think of any other mission that the PNP hierarchy now can think that we cannot do that job for the PNP.
So, sir, now naman moving on to the current situation, it is almost a month and 2 weeks, more or less, after Mama Sapano. Ang daming emotions the week after that. It was a difficult time, I suppose, for the PNP and the SAF. How are your men now?
We have to admit that after the incident, low moral sila.
Okay.
Low moral. Again, as we always say, we are more than brothers and sisters here.
Yeah.
It's very difficult to explain the relationship which binds us together, but more than brothers and sisters. And so losing one brother and sister, talagang mabigat sa ano yan. But slowly we're able to talk to them, even when I was not yet inside.
Yes.
I would visit them, talk to them. slowly naman naibabalik yung ano nila, yung believe nila sa sarili nila. But of course, right now we are still waiting for the results of the board of inquiry, di ba? Something that is really going to be important as far as our questions are concerned. Especially those who operated. Tapos we also have to retool ourselves again. Yung mga nasawi namin mga kasamahan doon, ito yung mga ina-idolize namin. Mga talagang mga veterano. Diba? So, siyempre, nakakawala din ng confidence kung minsan kasi ito yung mga supposed to be, alam mo na kasangga mo pag gera. Nauna na sila. So, we must really have to, you know, train more people to become, you know, leaders among the ranks, to help the officers and to, you know, bring back this confidence in them that we can again go back to the state that we were in before Mama Sapano. In fact, dapat nga better.
Yeah. Sure, nabanggit nyo nga kanina, even before you were told that you would be the new director of SAF, you went around and spoke to troopers. Is that because of your history as SAF also? Kasi I remember, sir, I saw you and several former SAF troopers when Secretary Rojas met with the SAF here. Parang why do you feel the need din po to, you know, talk to the troopers, to the current troopers and, you know, ask them parang kamusta na kayo, ganyan?
Yun kapatid nga yung nawala diba? Sa akin, walang I never thought na I would be considered. Never. Let's be very honest, in our class now, we are now in a position to become candidates for a regional director.
Yes.
Okay, so, and in the career of a PNP officer, particularly a career officer like us, that's one position we all aspire for.
Yes.
Because not all of us can become chief PNP.
Yeah.
Not all of us can become, how do you call it, DCA, DCO, di ba? So, yung pinaka-minimum, kasi nga, ang gusto lang namin, maka one star kami. Pag naka one star ka, din sana mag-RD ka. Yun yung ano namin, maliit na ano. Pero, siyempre, nung nangyari nga itong insidente, we are not thinking of coming back here to SAF. Ako lang, yun lang. Tropa so we have to, ako on my part, I had to come back, talk to them.
Yeah.
But the other side of me also was, the other part of me was, I came here to tell also the boys na, hopes, baka mamaya, diba, malumoral kayo kung ano ang maisip nyo. Pag-isipan nyo ng maigi, sinasabi ko nun na, most likely mali yan yung iniisip nyo. Kasi, the hatred, the vengeance, alam mo na, yung galit ba? Pero sinasabi ko na, wag, hayaan mo lang mag-die down. Masakit talaga.
Yeah.
Pero, once you are not focused kasi and you are going to do something na ang nasa likod mo is, let's say for example, you're thinking of vengeance pero ang nasa likod mo is hatred naman, which is pushing, you'll not be able to plan it out properly. Kasi iba yung nagmo-motivate sa'yo diba? So, nabablock off yung mga ibang situations na dapat i-consider mo. So, yun naman ang lang. Pero, yun lang. Magkakaibigan kasi, malalapit kami sa isa't isa. So, you know, come here, talk to them.
Sir, na-mention nga ni Secretary Rojas that one advantage you have is that you yourself, I mean, you went through what the people on the front lines now are going through. But what was that experience like? You to see these men, I'm sure you were in their shoes years ago. What was that experience like to actually see them, talk to them, yung mga hinaing nila at that time?
Honestly, the reason why na ako ay napilitan ako kasi ayaw ko sanang magpakita. Ayaw ko sana, I wanted just to grieve. Parang akin lang. Pero most of these people that suffered in Mama Sapano, it's either na nandito ako nung na-recruit sila, or maybe na-interview ko sila, or na-interview ko sila sa promotion. So, by faces, Some of them I know.
Right.
Sigurado ko na-interview ko sila sa promotion, yung mga PO2, mga PO3. Ano. So, yung mga PO1 maybe during their training, mga bago pa sila. Parang that's the period na I was here.
Yeah.
So, parang siyempre, makipag-commiserate. Kasi tropa nga nawala eh. Tapos yung situation pa ay napakaiba dun sa ina-expect mo na situation na mawawalan ka ng kasamahan. Diba? Although, I know we swore to die.
Yeah.
You know. Pero siyempre, as much as possible, kung pwede mo maiwasan, you cannot, diba? Kaya nga survival ang pinag-uusapan natin. But, mabigat pa rin kahit na nag-swore ka na you give your life for this country.
Sir, siguro one of the more shocking statements from a SAF trooper, yun nga, when they met with Secretary Rojas, si Senior Inspector Meloria said out loud na parang this country is not worth it. Obviously, he was very shaken over Mama Sapano. Yung ganong sentiment, sir, how do you handle that now, especially now that you head the SAF? Parang how do you deal with emotions like that?
I explained to them na dapat we should always look at this situation two sides.
Okay.
Hindi pwedeng yung sa side lang nila. Di ba? Dapat they should also consider yung side ng kabila. Okay. And ano ito yung sinasabi ko? Sa kanila kasi, dahil bata nga sila, yung exposure nila ay limited lang dun sa environment nila na sila lang nag-uusap, di ba? Sabi ko, dapat you think farther up and consider ano ba yung overall picture naman. Ano kaya ang epekto nung nangyari. And ito nga yung na in-explain ko sa kanila na don't be so in a hurry to make conclusions, di ba? Kasi you have your reason for saying that. But again, the persons who directed these operations may also have reasons why na, di ba? Ganun ang naging actuations. Again, up to the board of inquiry. Naiintindihan naman nila slowly. I always tell them na, siyempre, iba yung pananaw mo as a inspector or senior inspector kesa yung pananaw mo na let's say for example, full colonel, senior superintendent. Magkakaiba yung niyan. So, ano naman. Sabi ko nga sa kanila, eventually, you will reach that position and you will also be torn between saan ka ba, di ba? Always.
Kasi that's a perspective that you understand their perspective and now you understand their perspective.
Napagdaanan ko doon, di ba? Dahil hindi pa naman sila naging commander nga ng mataas na gaya ko, hindi nila maintindihan.
Limitado pa yung perspective nila ng Pero ngayon naman, sir, it's been almost 1 month, more than a month since that meeting, since the 42 came back to Manila. Ano na ang sentiments ngayon ng mga nakakausap niyo po na members ng SAF?
I think I am safe and ready to say that we are slowly moving on, and I see in them na they would like to get back again and start going after the bad guys out there. Honestly, yun ang nakikita ko sa kanila. However, sabi nila, kailangan natin nung equipment ulit kasi may kakulangan kasi kami ng gamit, everything. Alam ko ito naman yung general na problema in all government agencies, di ba? Kakulangan ng tao, kakulangan ng supplies, kakulangan ng finances, ganun. But we also understand na hindi naman pwedeng hingin lahat. Kaya lang, it's very crucial, and these things, di ba? Itong mga equipments na ito, all these kinds of men, material, and financial resources are very important for us kasi because this gives us the edge over our enemies, di ba? Let's just assume that everything else is equal. Parehas kami ng training, parehas kami ng willingness to die for each other's cause. Dahil nga sila ay hindi masyadong financed, kami, dahil mayroong gobyerno na tutulong sa amin, of course, when we have this example, protective gear that we have, that spells the difference already. Nadodouble yung confidence namin na na lumusob kasi alam namin meron kaming protective gear, di ba, as compared dun sa kabila. And ito nga yung natin, pinag-aaralan din, and no less than the President has called my attention to this one.
Yeah.
That
was the 3-hour-long meeting.
Wish list, yung wish list ninyo, i-ready nyo. So, we are in the process of reviewing again kung what do we have right now, what would we like to be in the future, and so to arrive at this state, what do we need?
Sir, nabanggit nga po, equipment upgrade, capability expansion, training, hazard pay, yung rotation ng mga tropa. Ano po dito yung what would be our priority in terms of immediate implementation for SAF?
Of course, yung equipment, okay? Again, this gives us the confidence to, to go out there and fight it out with the enemy.
Yeah.
And, however, we also have to consider din yung moral and welfare ng mga tao natin.
Yeah.
Together, always yan considered. Considered. So, yung mga priorities should be on nakatutok dito sa dalawang portion na to. Things that can help us facilitate or ensure the mission that will be accomplished with as much as possible zero casualty, di ba? And yung zero casualty redounds to the moral and welfare ng tropa, di ba? So because this should always go together. Otherwise, as they say, 50% lang, di ba? You may have achieved the mission, but you suffered casualties. Siyempre, in a way, hindi talaga 100% mission accomplished, di ba? Ang dapat na gusto sana natin is, we accomplish the mission with, minimal losses on part of us.
So talking about naman operational concerns with SAF, the BOI is supposed to submit tomorrow, on Monday, their report to OIC. Will this report affect somehow how SAF operates in the future?
I would presume, yes. Of course, of course. Whatever is the findings of the BOI, I think it will have its effect on the operations that we conduct, on how we are going to function. In fact, maybe we have to revisit the missions of SAF.
Yes.
Diba?
Yes.
Yung mga missions nung the mandated tasks of SAF when it was created, and ngayon ay applicable pa ba towards the future that we would like to pursue, di ba? Kinakailangan ba natin mag-reorganize? Maraming and this we are working on right now, although binibilisan kasi we cannot always we do not always have the luxury of time doing this kasi especially kung equipment ang pinag-uusapan, it has to go through a process.
Madugo yung procurement
and everything.
Yes.
Okay, so we're happy that we are again being asked of what do we like, what would we want to do. So,
Sir, the BOI report, many sectors, the families, the survivors, the SAF who survived the operation, the public, hopes it will answer a lot of the nagging questions. As far as SAF is concerned, or even you personally, po, sir, as its acting commander, what are the questions that you want the BOI to answer with its report?
Thinking of the operators on the ground, di ba? And yun nga, which led to the death of yung 44 na kasamahan namin. Talagang ang question is, nasaan yung supposed to be na understanding namin na mayroong reinforcement or mayroong tulong coming from the Armed Forces of the Philippines in terms of mechanized infantry and artillery support. Kasi this is spelled the results of the mission, di ba? Initially okay.
Yeah, kasi you got Marwan.
Yeah, so, pero nung bandang huli, ito na, hindi naman dumating. And you can just imagine kung anong usapan nung mga magkakasama nung panahon na yun, yung mga namatay at saka mga nabuhay, mga injured at saka mga nabuhay with yung mga namatay. Nag-uusap yung mga yun. And so, you cannot take it away from the unharmed and the wounded na parang mayroon din silang kinakailangan malaman para ma-explain din nila sa sarili nila na, kasi ang feeling nila dapat sabay-sabay na lang kami sana na na namatay. Kasi yun ang
May survivor's guilt.
when they go out there, patay kung patay yan.
Yeah.
They know, especially missions like that.
Yeah.
It's a violation of protocol. One way in, one way out. But what can you do? That's the only way. That's the only way in.
Yeah.
That's the only way out.
Yeah.
Pero kinol pa rin nila. Why? Maybe because, yun nga, they banked on, they depended on the what's this, part of the plan that, reinforcements coming from the AFP will arrive on time.
So that's one thing that
Ako,
the
yun,
staff really needs to
yun
know.
yung kasi, the reason why they stuck it out there is because when they suffered casualties already, ako, ito lang yung gut feel ko, and I think what's this, very sure about, na ito yung conclusion ko. May mga wounded na, may mga namatay na. Eh, ang usapan is walang iwanan. So, hindi na nila kayang buhatin, hindi na nila kayang So, sabi nila, dito na lang tayo. Anyway, mayroon namang plano for support, di ba? May reinforcement naman. May backup naman. So, doon lang.
Because you can't leave your man. I mean,
Yes. No,
sabi mo nga, sir,
nako.
mas malalim pa po
Yes.
nga minsan sa family yung bond that
Tama, di ba?
have to.
Remember yung kwento ni Lalan?
Yes, sir.
Yung first sergeant niya.
Yes,
yung
sir.
yung niya, yung superior niya, yung non-com niya. Sabi niya, wag mo akong iwanan, di ba? Sinabi niya. Pero yung sinabi niya sa kanya na, kinakailangan may magkwento no kung anong nangyari dito And so sabi nga nung isa, sige, ganito na rin lang ako. O ako na yung diversionary target nila. Di ba? Tumakbo ka na o gumapang ka na. Ako na yung, I will catch their attention already. Can you just imagine kung si Lalan ay wala rin?
Walang makakakwento ng experience na 55.
Baka statistics na lang yung 36 or 35 dun sana, di ba?
Sir, so talking nga po about the survivors, you have the Seaborn, the survivors of the Seaborn, and then Lalan of the 55th. How are they coping now, 1 month after?
They underwent stress debriefing. Diba?
Okay.
So, it's good to hear na yung as far as the doctors are concerned, sabi nila, nakakaano naman sila. In fact, na-release na nga yung mga iba I mean, when I say release, they were already discharged from the hospital kasi but we understand that there may be times that they will have to undergo itong talk with a psychologist or psychiatrist again. Initially si Lalan hindi raw umaakyat dun sa ward ng mga
Ay, kasi wanna see
noon itong mga Seaborn. But later on maakyat-akyat na, tapos siyempre nung nagkaliwanagan na kung ano ba, bakit gano'n, alam mo na, nag-uusap yung mga yan So, he goes along well with the group naman. But of course, si Lalan has to, let's just say that he has the most traumatic experience from among the group. So, kailangan maalalayan. Pero sinasabi naman niya na okay na ako, okay naman ako. But again, he has to be, assisted every now and then. In fact, we told him na if you want to see if you think ang gusto mo, ibang doktor naman, o you tell us kasi may naka-ready. So far, okay naman dyan. Sabi niya, magbakasyon lang ako.
Right. Sir, ito naman, I guess this would be your biggest mission as a SAF trooper to head the unit, to steer it in the right direction. Lalo na, the unit was lost, I guess, or shaken after Mamasapano. What is your vision for SAF now, or what's next for SAF under your command?
Ito, before I answer that,
Yes.
I would like to state here maraming peculiarities ang SAF Pero if there's also one very glaring peculiarity ng SAF is that the people, unlike any PNP unit, the members are consulted as to who would they like to lead them. Okay, so in short, yung SAF, yung mga ibang members dito napagtanungan sila. Sa tingin niyo ba sino ba ang pwedeng
Okay.
Marami naman available doon, pero I think ako kasi yung mas ano ba, mas nare-remember siguro nila because I came back here in 2010, 2013. In short, ako ang napili.
Yeah.
So, when I talk to them, sinasabi ko sa kanila na, oops, sandali. Hindi ako ang on my own lang na select dito. Sabi ko, you are part of this.
Yes.
And so, tulungan nyo ako. Tulong-tulong tayo dito.
Yeah.
Diba? And sinasabi ko nga sa kanila na, it does not mean that nawalan tayo ng 44 na kasamahan ay, namatay na rin tayo.
Yeah.
Iiyak yung mga 44 ngayon na nanonood sa atin, nasa taas sila, pinapanood tayo. Kung yan ang gagawin natin na, we'll just hunker down and feel that, show that we are lost. Ganon, di ba? Sabi ko, no way. Para mapasaya natin sila and at the same time, para their death will not, will have may kabuluhan yung pagkamatay nila. Sabi ko, we should rise up again. And dapat ang inspiration natin sila.
Right.
Diba? Sila nga, nauna nga nang nagsakripisyo, tayo, mabuti pa, nandito pa. Sabi ko, so dapat, i-supportahan natin, i-justify natin yung pagkamatay nila na ito yung, this is now causing us to stand up, be brave, be more courageous, be, how do you call it, be more fearless.
Yeah.
Kasi sabi ko, aside from the guardian angel that you have right now, you have another additional 44. So, 45 yan. So, where can we go wrong? So, sinabi ko sa kanila, I cannot do this on my own. We have to do this all together. Siyempre, sabi naman nila sa akin, yes, I will try my best. I was telling them that I will never break their hearts. Pero I cannot do this alone. In fact, we in SAF cannot do this alone.
Right.
The community has to support us.
Right.
We are overwhelmed by the help, in whatever way. Be it donations, be it prayers, be it greetings, be it whatever, masses and everything. I'm telling them always na we can never say we cannot thank the people enough for all of these praises and things that without the 44, hindi naman sahantong sa ganito na napaka sikat natin na parang heroes na rin tayo lahat, di ba? Naikabit lang tayo dun sa 44 kasi pare-parehas tayo ng SAF, di ba? So sabi ko, not only the 44, although the community, we should not, the PNP leadership, the PNP as a whole, the community, we should never let them down.
Right.
And I know. In due time, we'll go back there and hunt down again those who are warrants of arrest for sowing terror in our communities.
Better SAF. And even better SAF after
like
this.
to have a better SAF than where it was before Mama Sapan.
It's a lot of things to do, sir, in the next few months or in the next year for you. But thank you for joining. Thank you for giving us the time today.
We also thank you for this opportunity.
Yes, sir. We were joined by Acting SAF Director Chief Superintendent Moro Laza, who spoke about how the SAF, the PNP's elite striking force, can and will move on after the tragedy in Mama Sapano. Again, I'm Bea Cupin. Thank you for joining us.